Sports Network is glad to bring you ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards today from the Salem Speedway. It's the running of the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 fueled by the Hoosier Lottery. What a beautiful day, folks, here in Indiana. It's a Sunday afternoon, and the crowd has packed into this racetrack once again. And guess what? It's a historic day. We're almost to 100 today. Jim Trado's the 99th run-in of an ARCA race at this half mile.
Since 1955, there's been a point race here. It has more tracks. No other track has more races in the ARCA sanction than this facility. This track, however, is very challenging. And when it comes to championships, you got to get it right here at Salem to move on to a championship. And speaking of champions, on a roll, Jack Bowser, ARCA champion. 7 times in a row he's won here at Salem. Frank Kimmel's done it 5 in a row. Tim Steele, a super speedway guy, no, he won 3 times in a row here at Salem. Building those championships leads to one thing. Tom Hessert in this field has won 3 races of the last 7. He is looking for that championship run and getting that roll on with a brand new team, Venturini Motorsports, in 2016.
Tom Hessert, a guy you're going to have to beat anytime you come to the Salem Speedway. Well, Charlie Kroll is on our broadcast today, and guess what? He's standing by with the guy who won today's Menards Pole presented by Ansel.
Chase Briscoe starting on the pole here this afternoon in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. A lot different track conditions than what we had yesterday. What's that going to mean once we go green flag racing?
You know, I really just don't have enough experience with pavement to tell you as much as I'd like to have it, but I think it's definitely going to be just greasy today in general. I think grip's definitely going to be the issue. That's kind of the issue with always at this place just because it's so old and abrasive. But, you know, General Tire obviously brought us a great tire, so we'll put the power down and see if we can't end up in victory lane here at the end of the day.
Dry, slick, no cushion?
Yeah. It should play into a dirt guy's advantage today, I would think.
Good luck. Have a good run.
Thank you very much. And I just can't thank Briggs Cunningham and Kerry Share enough, you know, especially it really means a lot when I come to a place like this, growing up 15 minutes from here. Just for them to take a chance on just a local Indiana sprint car kid's pretty unbelievable and just very blessed.
One of the things that's really fun about this ARCA Racing Series is many of those champion drivers out there can give information to young kids, but you got a guy like Chase Briscoe coming here and he say, I've never seen this track before.
And he's fast. He's won his 2nd pole already this season. He doesn't have a lot of laps here in a stock car, but I imagine, as he said, those dirt guys will have an advantage because this track is unbeknown to anyone because the track continues to change. The turn in 1 and 2, the banking is a lot different than turns 3 and 4, which gives a lot of compromise. The main issue now for these teams to figure out where do they want to be better, on the front end in 1 and 2, or off at 3 and 4 where the checkered flag is the next thing you see.
Well, and guess what? Here's the other thing. This place is pretty worn out, right, Charlie?
The pavement here at Salem Speedway is old, it's rough, it's worn out. You can see right here just how rough this pavement that was laid down all the way back in 1973 can be. These bumps down here are going to present a huge challenge for the drivers throughout the course of today, but it's not going to be that way throughout the entirety of a lap here. The pavement down on the other end of the racetrack is almost brand new.
So you've got differing conditions. Each corner is different, the way the drivers have to drive them, and you got to figure out where your car works best, bottom, middle, or top.
And now you got 2 different track compounds here at Salem Speedway.
When we were down in turns 1 and 2, there's a lot of bumps down there, so the fast cars are going to be hunting for the groove. They may be running in the middle. They may be running way up towards the top. That is not going to be the case down here in turns 3 and 4. The fast groove is right here. 2 feet from that outside wall. There's a very narrow margin for error down here, and you're going to see some race cars, as we already have, up in this outside wall.
No question about it. You're going to make contact with the wall at some time. The big question is, how hard can you hit it without hurting your race car?
Well, the entry into turn 3, as we'll see, the fans are here to see how many guys can ping off that wall and continue on. It can suck them in. It could be a way to turn the car better. There's all different ways to approach turns 3 and 4, unlike any other racetrack on the schedule.
We've heard from Chase Briscoe. He's our pole winner today, but there's a couple other young drivers making their first start, and for more, let's go back to pit road.
Christopher Bell making his ARCA Racing Series debut. Christopher, you're used to different track conditions when you're slinging dirt. What's this track going to be like today versus what it was yesterday?
I'd imagine it's probably going to be a lot slicker. You know, we're going a lot further distance, and it's going to be a little bit warmer. So hopefully you get slipping and sliding around, and it'll be who has the best car control.
These Venturini cars have been really good on these short tracks. I know that you have got a lot of good short track experience. We're looking to put this thing in victory lane in your debut?
Just hope to be in contention on lap 199. That's all you can ask for. And if we're there, I think we got a pretty good shot at it.
Christopher Bell got a big win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series last year at Eldora, and he's hoping to add another one in ARCA today. Another driver from Venturini Motorsports is also going to be pretty fast.
Another driver making his ARCA Racing Series debut, also in the Venturini Motorsports stable this weekend, Dalton Sargent. What's this car been like so far here, your first time in it?
First off, it's just a pleasure to be here at Salem Speedway, just to work with everybody at Venturini Motorsports. You know, Billy Venturini himself being my crew chief has just been an awesome experience. I think we got a really good number 55 Windows 10 Toyota Camry, and can't look forward to it enough. You know, got some great teammates, Christopher Bell that I've been able to learn from some, Tom Hessard who's won this race multiple times. So just being able to work with them has really taught me a lot. And overall, I think we got a really good car for today. And it's going to be a fun race. I think it's going to be long, and you're going to have to be patient, but overall it's going to be fun.
It's a really old, mean, nasty racetrack. You ever been on anything like this before in your career?
No, especially turn 1 and 2. You know, 3 and 4 has been repaved not too long ago, but 1 and 2 after about 20 laps on your tires, man, is it slick. And overall, I think that's going to be the place where you really just kind of you're going to be able to beat some of the other guys today. You know, just conserving your stuff down there and really taking it easy.
Well, if you've learned anything from the start of the race today, I think you'll find out that these drivers are up for a big challenge today at Salem Speedway.
So many factors, and rarely does a rookie win a race here at Salem for that very reason. Managing the tires, making it through turns 1 and 2 each and every lap, because that's really what sets up the passing into turn 3. And that's got to be done before you get to the wall in turn 3. A lot of different things playing a factor. Confidence and using that right foot on the gas pedal. Pedaling that car to get through that corner is going to be key.
Today's event is sponsored by the Kentuckiana Ford dealers, and we want to hear from Steve Motzinger from Eddie Gilstrap Motors to get us started.
Ford, the light of the world. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 at Salem Speedway coming up in just a moment. Today's race is part of the ARCA Short Track Challenge, sponsored by Protect Plus, the official licensee of DuPont Air and Water Filtration, and by Hers Potato Chips. Hers, live life with flavor. And by General Tire, anywhere is possible. Cars on the grid right now. We want to show you where your favorite driver is today in our General Tire starting lineup. We heard from Briscoe and Christopher Bell and Sargent. We see John West Townley starting 4th today.
They have great starting spots, with starting back there at 8th is the driver who finished 2nd here in this race 1 year ago, Kyle Weatherman, in the number 58 Ford for Lyra Motorsports.
As we move back to row number 5, you'll see Shane Lee and Justin Haley. And right behind them, Blake Jones and Brady Boswell.
Brian Keselowski won this race in 2007. Don't count out him. He's the older brother of Brad Keselowski.
Hessard starting back there in the 8th row. Josh Williams, our Nashville winner, rolls off in the 17th position.
And this field, as full as it is, will become a challenge because some of these teams don't have the speed of the leaders, but they'll be factors throughout the race today.
No question about it. Lap traffic can play a big role, and the green flag is out here at Salem Speedway as the cars come down the front straightaway. We're under racing conditions here. Look at that. A good job for Chase Briscoe as he went to the high side quickly.
He elected to take the outside front row starting position. That's what the pole winner can elect to do. And that's the preferred line into turn 1, and no doubt the preferred line here off of turns 3 and 4.
We heard Charlie Crawl talking about how you will run right up against a wall, and as these tires wear out, you'll see these guys getting closer and closer, especially coming off of turn number 4.
One thing Charlie referenced in his interviews with our 2 race leaders now, Chase Briscoe, the number 77, and the 66 of Christopher Bell, is their extensive dirt track experience. It will play a factor here because there's not a lot of margin for error, and they run so different than a standard short track where you run on the bottom in the corners and on the straightaways on the outside. Keep in mind, Christopher Bell has had a lot of experience. Now he's full-time for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the NASCAR Capital Truck Series, so his dirt experience, maybe he's not as fresh as Chase Briscoe's, who's in just his, 6th or 7th stock car race ever.
Tyler McQuarrie right there in the number 59. The Lyra Motorsports cars all look pretty similar, but you'll notice that their numbers are different colors. That'll help you try to keep track of which driver is in which car today.
No doubt the number 05 is John West Townley running in the 3rd position. He's got a good race car. Always fast at tracks like this. John West Townley is certainly one of the improving drivers, a bright star here in the ARCA Racing Series. He might bag another win. He won Daytona already at the start of the season.
A lot of young drivers in this field, and ARCA Racing allows the younger drivers to make starts on the short tracks throughout the course of the season. Many of these guys hoping to just get experience as they move up through the ranks, and we'll see a number of these guys try to get themselves in position to run on the bigger tracks later in the season.
Tallying the 05, the number 55 right behind him is Dalton Sargent, making his ARCA racing debut, but he already has a couple of top 10s in the NASCAR Camping Truck Series. He'll be racing for Venturini Motorsports this year in 15 ARCA races, which will give him experience on super speedways, tough short tracks like this, and who knows, he might even show up and run the 2 dirt miles later on.
ARCA with one of the most diverse racing schedules in all of America. 8 short tracks, 2 on the dirt. Those are, of course, mile tracks. We have a road course over in New Jersey, and then 9 races on the big tracks. That is really something.
Nowhere else can you run a track like Salem, Indiana, and then go to Daytona and go to Talladega, and the engine package is there. The ARCA, the Ilmore 396 allows you to race at all those tracks with the same engine, which cuts down a whole bunch of money when it comes to building engines, leasing engines for different size racetracks.
Last year, Ken Schrader Racing went to Talladega. They ran that race, took the engine out, put it in the car, and came here and won the race.
Schrader won the race, the number 52 car. Today, he's got a driver, Matt Krzyzewski, in that car that won a year ago, but Schrader said, I got to just get some laps. He's never been here. Matt Krzyzewski making his first start at Salem is well back in mid-pack now as you see this great battle between a couple of Lyra Motorsports machines and that black number 74 on the bottom, Justin Haley.
I'll tell you what, he was sideways coming out of 4 last time in that Braun Racing car. And look at this, they're going to go 3 wide coming off the corner as they go around Ed Pompa.
Haley has experience here at Salem, only 9 starts in the ARCA Series. He's just 17 years of age, so at 15 he started racing with us. This is his 4th start here at Salem Speedway already.
Sorry about that. I just said the 10 was Pompa. That's actually Dick Dehaney. So used to seeing that Double H Ranch sponsorship on Ed Pompa's car.
Andy Hillenberg and those guys do a great job preparing the car. Tommy Bear. And Double H Ranch, what a great sponsor and supporter. They're actually a camp that helps out a lot of folks. Great exposure for them here in the ARCA Racing Series.
Look at this group to the right of the screen here. They are 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the corner there. Tom Hessert now roughing it up a little bit. The 22 makes contact on the inside.
And that's Blake Jones. He won at Talladega with Kentuckiana Motorsports, got the call right before the team attended a test here last week, said, we need you in the 22. There's been a change. Blake Jones jumped at the chance, and now this young man has practiced in the top 10 and runs right there right now in his first chance this year with Kentuckiana Motorsports in the 22.
Josh Williams started 17th today. He's coming through the field. Remember, he's our Nashville winner, and now he's down on the bottom of the track. Looks like he's pretty hooked up.
You know, as they say, sometimes the outside is where you punish the tires, not in 1 and 2. Down on the bottom, you have to turn the car more, and it actually will hurt the tires more in the bottom of 1 and 2 than up on the top side.
Tire management, always a big deal when we talk about ARCA short track racing. We've seen it time and time again. When do you pit? Do you have a strategy? And will the outcome of the race dictate making changes and making decisions late in the afternoon here? We'll see how the crew chiefs are able to handle the calls.
And what amazing runs by these drivers that don't have a lot of laps here at Salem. I thought the rookies would be falling back by now. I thought Hester would be pulling away from these guys. Not the case. Chase Briscoe was fast in practice, set the qualifying mark, and now he's on a charge to try to lap as many of these cars as possible.
That's 2 consecutive Menards poles presented by Ansel for Chase Briscoe. He had it at Nashville and here at Salem. Didn't get the finish they had wanted at Nashville. Led a lot of laps, but in the end they had done 2 tires, and Josh Williams had put on 4 in the early stages of the race, and that made the difference.
And the caution never came again. That's playing a factor here in the mindset of these crew chiefs. Again, a 6-tire race, meaning they have 6 total tires they can change in the pits. So that would likely lead to 2 right side tires in 1 pit stop, and then 4 tires on another pit stop. Just a matter of which ones you want to put on first. Just 2 tires or 4 at the beginning, because that's what worked for Josh Williams.
And will you get the chance to execute your plan? That's the big question.
Absolutely. Jeff McClure is the crew chief on the number 66 for Christopher Bell. That veteran driver turned crew chief has his driver dialed in. They came in here and tested as well. Bell was very fast in that test, very confident. He was actually smiling and talking to everybody about, I just want to survive. I want to make every lap of this race. But I think he knew with the speed he has in this car, he's showing us early on.
Christopher Bell had that huge crash at the end of the season last year. I went and did an interview with him, and he said it was amazing how different the rollover in a truck was from the rollover in a sprint car. And he made a really great point. He said, in the sprint car, you're in the center of the race car, and the way the G-force happens in a roll was completely different. I found that very interesting.
And as these cars are single file right now, we're talking about the driver, the number 66, Christopher Bell. Yeah, he's been on his lid a few times. He's also won more than his fair share of races. Over 100 races last year, and the year prior, He's a contemporary of Rico Abreu and Kyle Larson, all the same ilk and same mold, running for Coons, Rusty Coons and the guys, Keith Coons Motorsports in the short tracks and the dirt. The chance here with Venturini Motorsports is a strong one, especially at Salem Speedway.
Well, they get around this racetrack in a hurry, and right now the guy that's doing it better than anyone is the driver of the number 77. That is Chase Briscoe. He was on the pole, and he is lightning fast so far here in the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. We need to take a quick break. We'll be back with more racing action. You're watching ARCA right here on American Sports Network. Here at Salem after 23 laps complete. We see Christopher Bell is running second to that car number 77.
Chase Briscoe has sold over 400 t-shirts, and I think they're all in the grandstands. All the black shirts you see in the stands here at Salem, which there's a lot of seats filled up. A lot of them are wearing black shirts because Chase is from, I believe, I did the math, run 15 minutes from home. About 20 miles from here is where his hometown is, and man, they've showed up in a big way. Third generation racer. He has really set the pace early here.
For sure. Cunningham Motorsports always puts great race cars on the track, but you know, talking to Paul Andrews and to Chad Bryant, the crew chiefs there, they have said that there really is just something extra special about this young man, and they really believe that not only does he do a great job of communicating back to the crew chiefs, but also he just has some kind of a natural feel for what the race car is doing to help them make it better every time they work on it.
And he uses his ears to make the car work. He listens to what he's being told.
Whoa, all kinds of smoke. Some car is headed to the pit area there.
Richard Hauken, the 31 Dodge.
That looks like an engine problem for Richard. Luckily, he got off the racetrack before it caused any major issue.
And there will not be any mosquitoes in the general area for at least 25, 30 minutes.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate it. There you can see the differential now is starting to close up a little bit between Briscoe and Bell. As we look at our scoring monitor, he has cut it down by about 0.3.
And there's Bell, and not too far back from him is the 05 of John Westowley. We'll see them in a moment come through the fog here. Is this Days of Thunder?
Yeah. Just stay in it. Just stay in it.
It's a risk to take here at Salem to just get your eyes off the wheel or lose concentration for 2 seconds, because it's going to happen that fast. Look how high they run here. They're a little bit lower than they will be later on when the tires wear. You'll see them all the way up to that 1 foot off the wall that Charlie pointed out earlier.
No question about it. A couple of guys are up there pretty close right now.
I love that shot when the cars come off of turn number 4. Watched Bob Straight all those years here on ARCA races. I stood at the wall watching Bob just hanging out for all it's worth off of turn 4. I love that spot at the corner of the grandstand where this camera is not too far from. Isn't that neat?
Right. Yeah, that is a great shot. And it shows you the transition, too, of how they come down off that corner. If we had a camera down in this end, you'd see that a lot of them need a mouth guard because it's rough down there.
It's a lot of compromise going on. Look at that. J.J. Haley, now Justin Haley, and then our 74 machine. He started back in 10th. He's running right with Dalton Sargent now in the top 5.
He's going by Justin, although a lot of his family called him that all the time, but all of us in racing called him JJ. But JJ Haley sounds too much like JJ Yaley, and he said, I gotta differentiate myself.
And he's going to be 18 years of age in 4 days, so, you know, part of that whole becoming my own man kind of thing plays in as well.
Growing up, 18.
He's a young talent that's got a lot of promise. Todd Brown, if you remember the name Brown Racing in NASCAR, Todd Brown's actually the owner listed of record. Justin Haley is his nephew. So throughout his racing career, Justin's had great equipment, and Todd Braun's backing as he does here again today in the 74.
And he is putting some serious pressure on the driver of the number 55, Dalton Sargent. I mean, if you're looking in your mirror, all you can see is the entire roof of that car in your back mirror. And here he goes. Looks like Haley's going to look to the bottom, down the back straightaway. He's got a fender in there. Not quite yet.
He's got to have it done by turn 3. Off of turn number 2, dropping down and hammering gas is what he's trying to set up here. It might take 4, 5, 6 laps, even at the speed. Justin is closing now right behind that 55 of Dalton Sargent. Right here again, he's got to dip down, but Sargent protects the inside. See how low he got on the racetrack that time? Sargent went nearly to the apron at the pit exit to hold position.
It was interesting hearing Charlie's interview with Dalton Sargent at the top of the show. He said, look, I'm relying a lot on my teammates. There's a lot of good experience there.
0.8 of a second back from this leader. Chase Briscoe is John Westowley, Dalton Sargent 4th, Haley 5th. Tom Hessert, 3-time winner in the last, 4 years? He's now in the 10th position. See how he has his way to progress here.
I did an interview with Tom while we were down in Daytona, and I asked him, what is it about the Salem Speedway? And he said, I have some kind of knack for understanding what the car is going to be like at the end of the race here. He said, not only do the cars change, the tires wear out, but the track will change too as the day goes on. He said, for whatever reason, in those final 20 laps, I usually just have, some kind of a feel for it. So we'll see. Haven't seen him here in the top 5 yet, but I'll bet you later we'll be talking about car number 25.
And one thing that plays a similar factor to who our leaders are right now, Tom Hessert spent a lot of time, 3 years I believe it was, traveling the USAC Midget Tour, a lot of races on pavement to get the feel in a quick hurry of how those cars handle on high banks and the short tracks throughout the country.
Here's A.J. Fike in that number 27. He's going to be getting some pressure now from these two cars, and Christopher Bell is going down to the bottom side. Will he be able to use a pick? Not that time. Right now, the number 77 of Briscoe is able to stay up there in the high groove as he goes around A.J. Fike. Puts him down a lap early.
That's a big surprise to have Fike going that slow. He started 14th today, but that left front damage may be more than cosmetic on the front of his white Ford. He's off the pace considerably here this early in the race. A surprising thought. I thought he'd be in contention for a top 5 run right now, and he's already a lap down.
Fike had a runner-up finish at our most recent short track race at Nashville, so he knows how to get it done. A winner on the dirt a year ago.
And how tricky is this place? Bo Lamastus and the Crosley Toyota just ahead of these leaders. He's about to go a lap down. He spent a lot of time here testing on old tires to get used to this racetrack. His driver coach is Jeffrey Bodine, who stood literally in the flag stand telling him how to get around this racetrack. But that all plays to a certain point. If he doesn't have the speed the leaders do, Bo's in some serious trouble here going down that lap. The 42.
It is getting congested out there for sure, and right now Christopher Bell is saying, where is my opportunity? And while he's looking for a great spot on the track, guess what? John West Townley has come along, and he's right in the mix of our top 3 runners.
And Bo Lamastus is running just a half a car width in the line that Brickle wanted. Bell took it there. You see the contact, Ray?
Yeah, we had contact, and Bell now goes down to the inside. Briscoe got loose just a little bit as Bo Lamastus held him up a tiny bit coming out of 3 and 4. And now we've got a new leader. Christopher Bell in the JBL Toyota is out front at Salem.
Great move in traffic. That could play huge here today. Down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. He'll dispatch of the 32 of Shane Lee.
So Christopher Bell moves out front. Chase Briscoe, who's been lightning fast throughout the day, gets held up for just a fraction of a second, and now that puts him back to 2nd place. We continue on with more racing from the Automobile Racing Club of America. We're at Salem Speedway on ASN. Today's race is part of the ARCA Short Track Challenge, and it's sponsored by Hers Potato Chips. Hers, live life with flavor. And by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Short track racing always exciting in ARCA. Today we have Christopher Bell, who has taken over the lead from Chase Briscoe. 2 leaders so far here at Salem Speedway. I expect that number will change throughout the course of the day. It's normally about 7 different drivers that get out front in this event.
Unless you're Kenny Schrader, who led 138 laps last year.
Yeah,
didn't give anybody else a turn.
Some guys are kind of selfish like that.
Schrader was here with his driver, Matt Krzyzewski, giving us some pointers. Right now, Donnie Richardson, the crew chief for that team, is spotting for the defending race winners. The driver, Matt Krzyzewski, behind the wheel. Running just on the back end of the top 10. This is a great battle here. The 55 is Dalton Sargent. He's raced in super late models. He's raced in Europe in formula cars and karting. But this is a whole different animal.
Well, we had a driver who started 5th today, but is having a bit of an issue. Let's get an update on Kyle Plott back down to the pit area and Charles Crawl.
Kyle Plott down on pit road, right side damage on the number 1 automobile. The team is going to the right side. Going to change the right side General Tires, pull out some of the damage. Kyle was a top 5 qualifier, had been up in the top 10. Evidently, Salem Speedway jumping up and biting the driver of the number 1 Ford.
Well, thank you, Charlie. And obviously we saw some damage to the front nose of that car on the right side. Looked like he had gone off-road racing a little bit.
Or even the transition at the racetrack from turn 4 down to pit road. That's a very abrupt transition. If you don't hit it just right, part of that right side balance is missing. It could have been for any number of factors here at this challenging Indiana Oval.
Plod driving for Tracy Goodson, and that's a team that's had a lot of success, but looks like today, not their day at Salem Speedway.
Smack dab in the middle of lap traffic, we find this battle. Bo Lemastis is already lapped by the leader here.
Oh, Bo's getting loose, and that time he was doing it right in front of Dalton Sargent. Remember, Bo was sort of the pick that changed our lead there as the number 77 of Briscoe got held up behind him. Now, looks like this time going to go down to the inside is Brian Keselowski. He said, I like that spot.
Wow, look at Brian's run here. He's trying to get an advantage. He knows there's grip down at the bottom, but Bo pushed him further down, I think, than he wanted. He wanted to pass Bo by now, so this should be interesting. How can Brian Keselowski use that bottom group to get by the lap car? You can't do it in turn 3 and 4 at Salem Speedway.
A Toyota there, then a Ford, a Toyota, then another Ford, and a Chevy. We got all kinds of action going on out here today.
Let's throw in the Dodge manufacturer,
Yeah,
because that's exactly what Bo Lemastis have been driving up till last race. This is just his second race in a composite body machine, and they don't make one for Dodge here in the ARCA Racing Series.
Justin Haley in the Chevrolet, and he has to go kind of in the middle. He found a groove there, and it seemed to work, but he's just not able in any way to get around Dalton Sargent. These guys have been side by side for about 6 laps.
And changing lanes here, you want to do it in a quick hurry. You want to get back in that rhythm here at Salem. Get in that gas pedal, roll into turn number 3, get back on the gas, use a little bit of brake here and there. You don't want to be messing around too much, too long, too often with these lap cars.
And Weatherman took advantage of going to the high side of Bo Lemastis that time, and now he's trying to put the bumper to the back side of the number 55 of Sargent.
The 58 is Kyle Weatherman. He won the short track challenge. It was a series within a series last year. 10 races made it up. He actually did so well. He won the overall rookie of the year, competing in 15 of the 20 races last year.
Hit the wall at Nashville, had damage to the right front. They said it was a ball joint failure, but nevertheless a bad finish there hurt them in the points significantly.
Dalton Sargent making his first laps in racing competition may learn something if he lets Weatherman go. Weatherman eyed him up on the inside of turn number 2. He'll try to do it again here, but now he's got a mirror full of Justin Haley in that Braun Auto Group number 74.
Well, this is some good racing. Shane Lee in there, number 32, is going to go to the high side and say, come on, guys, I'm going to give you a little bit of racing room. He did it nicely for Dalton Sargent.
He's racing the Lee Boy Paving Equipment machine. It's a family business, and he's trying to make sure that the Wintron family back in ARCA Racing has a good showing here, but there's a lot to learn, and he's going to do it among the leaders here a lap down in the 32.
Shane Lee's car looks wicked loose when it comes off of the corner. I'm sure he's got a bit of a handful there.
You saw the yellow car, Kyle Plott, coming back out of the pits for his second time down pit road already here at Salem in the number 1.
We'll have to talk about tire management again, Jim. This is one of those events where the crew chiefs make a plan. You sit in the hauler, you say, here's what we want to do. This is the perfect way to run this race. But guess what? It hardly ever works out that way.
And looking at this already, we're on lap 62 already of this race. And looking how these guys are setting the pace, they could very well lap up to 4th or 5th before anything has to happen. And who knows, we might have had green flag pit stops at Salem Speedway.
Remember at Nashville, all the guys were saving their 4 tires. They left them in the pits, most of them. They did a 2-tire change and expected a caution with about 50 to go, and it just never materialized.
Same lap distance, 200 laps, same size track on paper, half a mile. The teams pitted at Nashville on lap 82 and never got another chance to come back to pit road.
So for more on the tire issue, let's go back down trackside and check in with Charlie Krall.
60 laps into the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. Drivers now some 2 seconds off the pace they set in qualifying yesterday. Every driver right now on the radio with their crew chiefs begging to come on down and get 4 more of these General tires. Waiting for that caution flag to come out. No one wants to have to come down and put these on under green flag conditions.
If you have to pit under green flag conditions, you are going to lose 2 laps and maybe 3.
Look at this run now. We're watching these cars get higher in turns 3 and 4. The beauty of this is no lap traffic with them, so they're just kind of running their pace, running their run. Don't over abuse the tires. It's one thing that Chase Briscoe had drilled in his head earlier. He won the pole position, but he was also being told, to stay fast all day, you must pace and keep your tires underneath you. I think that's what these 4 drivers are doing right now.
You know, we hear all the time when they race at Darlington, you hear race the racetrack, but a lot of times it's very, very true here. You might not be in position to race the guy beside you, but you've got to know what this track is going to give you and how loose or tight your car is. One car is on a rail right now, and that is Christopher Bell. He is out front of the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. Coming up to 69 laps complete here at the Salem Speedway, and all the drivers saying, give me some new General tires. We want to shine a little extra spotlight on Christopher Bell. He is our leader today, and our Scott rookie spotlight is on this young driver.
His first ARCA race, his first time ever seeing Salem Speedway until he tested here 2 weeks ago, and this kid's putting it on him right now.
Fast driver. Won a lot of races in midgets, national midget champion, a winner in the Camping World Truck Series a year ago, and making his first ever start today at the Salem Speedway. That's our Scott Rookie Spotlight on Christopher Bell.
He's won in the World of Outlaws, 2 races last year. He's won in USAC Sprint Cars. He won the Silver Crown portion and the midget portion of the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora Speedway, not too far from here in Ohio. This kid's a pure talent. Whatever he gets in, he's fast, but it comes down to the team. Venturini Motorsports has had fast equipment. They like to test young drivers and bring them forward. They're a development team. This kid adapted quickly to Salem Speedway. I think it's going to be a long time before you wipe the smile off of his face from here.
I've listened to him on the radio a lot when he runs the Camping World Truck Series, and what I can't get over is just how calm his demeanor is. Nothing gets him excited. If somebody in front of him does something really crazy, he goes, well, that was kind of dumb. You know, he's just really a calm and cool, collected young man.
And one of the things these drivers have to adapt to, as we talk about dirt into pavement, is you have a spin there. Bo Lamastus goes around.
The 42 Crosley Toyota has gotten sideways on the back straightaway, and that is going to bring out a yellow flag here at the Salem Speedway.
You talk about transitions off of turn 2, it's very tricky. It flattens out in a hurry on the bottom, and if you don't plan it just right at the apex of turn number 2 and you cross over, it's almost like you're changing lanes, and there's an angled road lane, and there's a flat lane, and there's another flat lane left of it. So coming across those can be very tricky, and Bo just got loose off of turn number 2 and had a wrong exit off of that corner to spin him around.
Well, that'll put us under yellow flag conditions here, and now the crew chiefs have some decisions to make. You going with 2? You going with 4? What are you going to do?
Fewer cars on the lead lap could play a factor here as well. Christopher Bell had a very, very strong pace going here. I'm going to say put 4 on Christopher and let him eat. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Jeff McClure's decision, not mine, what Christopher Bell does on the racetrack.
Absolutely. Well, all the crew chiefs are going to be on the radio talking with their drivers, and they'll all make a plan. When we come back, we'll see the pit stops here at Salem Speedway. Well, the decisions that are made in the next 45 seconds could affect the outcome of the race. Christopher Bell in the lead, Briscoe second, Townley is third. Jim, what are you going to do on the pit stops, 2 or 4?
Boy, you know what? I'd want to change all 4. A race ago, the teams pitted about this time in the race. The ones that took 2 tires got lapped big time by a car that took 4 and won the race at Josh Williams. I'd say take 4.
Well, everybody was counting on a later caution, and if it's me right now, I say there's too many laps remaining. I want to go with 2 here and save my 4 for later and hope it works out. We'll find out. Here goes Christopher Bell, our fastest car. He is in his pit stop, and we also see the 77 rolling by. Let's go back down to Charlie.
Chase Briscoe hitting pit road. Team already over to the right side of the automobile, taking off those General tires, slipping and sliding after some 75 laps of green flag racing. Only going to take those right side tires, saving those 4 fresh General tires for later on in the race. Chase Briscoe already back down and away.
And Charlie, we saw Blake Jones get in the way there a little bit, holding Briscoe back slightly, and also they made a big track bar adjustment on that 77. So it appears Townley will be the first one off pit road. Then it'll be Haley, then Briscoe. Hey, where's the 66?
That's a good question. Charlie, what's going on in the 66 pit? What did they do?
Jeff McClure, crew chief for Christopher Bell in the 66. He came on down pit road. What'd you guys do?
I just put 2 right side tires on, a little bit of fuel. He says he likes the way it is. The balance is real nice, so we're just trying to hang on.
Saving those 4 tires for later in the race. Think we're getting enough cautions to get them on this week?
I hope I get it. It bit me in the fall. I'm waiting on it. I need another one, so we'll see what happens.
Christopher Bell been running really strong in that 66 here the first half here at Salem.
Well, thank you, Charlie, and good run for Townley here. Obviously picking up the lead on the pit stop. Anytime your crew can get you some spots, that's a great way to do it, for sure. And let's hear from his crew chief. That would be Kevin Reed.
Kevin Reed, crew chief for John West Townley. You came down, took two tires. What's the strategy there?
I think we just get past 125, 130 to take our four, but the Paragon Chevrolet's done pretty good today. John West has done a really good job. We got in the wall up there a little bit earlier, but all in all, everything's good, and he should have a shot at it here later today if we can finish taking care of it. Get our four tires. Unlike we did at Nashville, we should have a shot at it.
I talked to him right before the race. He said he was going to be really aggressive down there in turns 3 and 4. You telling him maybe not to be quite as aggressive after getting up in the wall?
Well, like I told him, the first 100 laps don't mean nothing. Let's just keep ourselves in position and try to have a shot at it at the end.
I noticed Jeff Hood got a real nice photo there of the interview.
Got to take advantage of all the media coverage here. The ASN is providing 9 races this year. The ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. Why not take advantage of it and show off the team is doing what they can for their sponsors, as we are here today at the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. A lot of great people here. They continue to show up here at Salem Speedway. All the great traditions, the open wheel history, the stock car history lives on here. The 99th race sanctioned by ARCA here at Salem.
And I got to tell you, in the fall when we come back here, it's a race 100, and they have got a blowout scheduled. I'm looking forward to that.
Plan on camping starting on Tuesday if you want to come see that race in the fall.
Absolutely. So pit stops have happened here, at least our first round anyway. A number of the front-running cars have decided to go with 2 tires. I think that was my strategy and not yours.
You know, we'll see how that plays out, Ray, because I don't know if anyone took 4 there. But keep in mind, this pace and the narrowness of the track in reality, the line they can run and the line they can keep running fast, it's going to change here with all these cars on different strategies. Yes, they have fresher rubber, but there's still going to be a speed disparity. The good guys are still shining brighter than the others.
Well, and keep in mind, a number of these drivers were able to make adjustments. So after 70-some laps, they had a chance to feel their car out. And the crew chiefs are saying, I can make them better for you. We're still under caution. We'll re-rack the field as we're continuing on here at Salem Speedway. Glad to have you back here at the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. We're running the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200. We're at the Salem Speedway, and today's race is brought to you by the Hoosier Lottery. So pit stops have happened. Track position has changed. And here's a look at our winners off of pit road. John West Townley came in 3rd, out 1st. That's a good run.
Great indeed. Justin Haley, look what he did. 7th to 2nd. That's a great effort by that Braun Auto Group team.
And we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Townley a little antsy on the high side. Haley down to the bottom. Pressure from Christopher Bell from behind, and we're back to green flag racing.
The outside line is what John West Townley wanted. He left the pit road first, and now it looks like he's going to lose that lead. Look at the run on the bottom by Haley.
Oh, and that spotter said, you are clear, 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 clear. Head up to the top.
I mentioned Haley's had 4. This is his 4th race already at Salem. Each of the 3 times he's been here in the past 2 years, top 10 finishes. A lot of experience here for this 17-year-old driver.
John West Townley looked like he had the preferred line on the high side and just didn't get going. Haley got the good jump, and now he's got a 3-car length lead.
Now I'd say the outside rubbered in a little bit. Matter of fact, 1 car slowing from contact on the wall back in the field. Turns 3 and 4 proving again to be tricky here, albeit with newer asphalt.
You know, I'm curious about your position on pit road because there weren't a lot of guys gambling. You know, it's not like some took 4, some took 2. It's just how you got in and got serviced and got back out.
We saw Chase Briscoe lose 2 spots, including 1 to Haley, just exiting pit road because of how tight it was. There's a drop point where Haley was pulling out. The pit road goes downhill into turns 1 and 2 and wraps all the way around to turn 2 for pit stalls. So it's a matter of pit selection. And if you qualified well and you think of the best pit stop, maybe that car in front of him, like his teammate, it cost him a few spots.
Yeah, we saw Blake Jones missed his pit stall, or thought he was supposed to be behind Briscoe. Then he came back around. That held him up a bit. So those things happen, but hopefully they can work it out on the track. Here's Keselowski down on the bottom side trying to go have a good run against Weatherman.
Weatherman gave the inside because he went way high in turn 2 a lap ago in the number 58.
Something just flew off of one of those cars over into turn number 1. Hopefully it's far enough up against a wall. Saw a little bit of debris there.
Oh, bumping and banging there. The 55 of Dalton Sargent and his teammate, Tom Hessert, in the white number 25.
I think that may be the first time we've mentioned Tom Hessert while we've seen him on camera, but remember what I told you at the top of the show.
Yep.
Wait till the end. You'll see him up there. There's that debris we saw come off of somebody's car.
Piece of interior metal, looks like, or perhaps from the fender well. Again, as these cars scrape against the wall, albeit composite bodies, they still have inner fender wells. The steel bodies certainly do. That looks like it may have come off the inside fender well of one of the machines on the right side.
So the ARCA officials said we don't want to leave it up there because it's right in the racing groove, or at least could be later, so they threw the yellow.
And when you wreck here in Salem at these speeds going in the corner, it's never an easy, slow spin. It's always a concrete wall, and the concrete wall always wins here at Salem Speedway. We see a little left rear damage now on the 74 of Justin Haley. You see the left rear fender now. That's again a steel body car, likely the car he's brought here in the past to Salem Speedway. The other body style is the composite body from 5-star stock car bodies, allowed this year on all tracks except for Daytona and Talladega in the ARCA Racing Series.
Green light is on. You can come to the pits right now, but I don't think we'll have many takers since they were just down about 10 laps ago. But while we are under caution here, it's a good time for us to go to our HERS mid-race update. And so far, we've had 3 different leaders, 5 lead changes. This is our 3rd caution of the day, and Justin Haley out front right now. So it has been a nice mix of drivers out front early on today. You know, when we raced short tracks at Nashville, we saw a lot of different people come and go. And it seemed like that front-running car could really get a pretty nice lead. But so far today, this competition stayed tight up front.
At some points in the race, a race ago, which encourage you to watch it if you have a chance on ASN to lock into Nashville, the leaders actually would take a gap of 5, 6, 7, 8 car lengths and keep it for a while. It seemed like everybody would come with big roundhouse rights, and then for a while they'd be the only guy punching and taking that lead. Well, the guy that gave the knockout punch was at 4 tires underneath the Chevrolet of Josh Williams late in the race. He led the last 43 laps there. Haley's trying to lead here, I think, from what, about lap 77 on.
Let's go back down trackside, get another update from Charlie.
Mason Mitchell Motorsports crew hard at work on the number 98 of Brady Boswell. Brady got up into the outside wall over in turns 3 and 4. Some debris from this car came off over in turns 1 and 2 to put us under the caution flag. You see them now working on resetting the toe in on the right front of that automobile. Also trying to pull out some body work on the right rear. Do not want a tire rub here at Salem.
That is one of the 5-star composite bodies, and all of these teams have told us that if you get a minimal amount of damage on those, you can pop them right back out. But it looks like that right front corner for Boswell had a pretty significant hit to the wall.
And it should be a lot less expensive to hang body panels versus an entire right side on the steel body to get it back to form here for these cars, short track or super speedways. Saving some cash for these teams as well with these replaceable body panels. 12 of them make up this composite body.
Justin Haley down to the inside. John West Townley to the high side through the restart zone, and Haley with another good run down the front straightaway. He's going to pop up in front of Townley and continue to hold the lead.
He has that restart line down. He gets on the gas just now for he's making everybody lag back. He's not holding them back. He's not short track restarting them, as I like to call it, or Texas short track holding them. Just a great charge as soon as that green flag starts to unfurl from the flag stand.
Christopher Bell now locked in back there in about 5th position. We see Brian Keselowski, excuse me, in that number 5, having a great run today here on the short track.
Brian's won races at Toledo Speedway and here at Salem Speedway, but it's been a while. Brian's been racing in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series when he gets a chance this year. He's got an opportunity with Bobby Gerhardt to crew chief Bobby in some truck races, and that's given Brian an opportunity to team with that effort, run the number 5 on the side of his number 5 Ford, and race some more races behind the wheel, not just on the pit box, for the expert mechanic out of Michigan.
Just about everybody's in the high line, Jim, except for Tom Hessert, and he's down on the bottom groove, and he's making up some time.
This is interesting because no one's been down there with any success. The number 22, Blake Jones, is right there with him, but he'll want to get as high and try to block the charge of that other Ford in view here, that blue and yellow 58 of Kyle Weilerman. Weilerman now in the St. Charles Glass Ford, even with Hessert now that time by the stripe.
Some tight racing action, and we continue to see Hessert using the bottom of the racetrack.
Battle for fourth here. Keselowski, that black number 5.
I'd like to be hearing Tom Hessert's radio right now. I'd like to know if he's saying, I think we've got him. I think we've got it figured out. You know, we're just coming up to halfway in this race. It's okay to be back in 6th or 7th as long as you feel good about your tire management.
We've got a veteran crew chief, Ryan Pickle London, calling the shots for Hessert this year in that signature number 25 for Venturini Motorsports. Crew chief on the 05, we heard from earlier, Kevin Reed said 2 tires will work for our driver, John West Townley. J.J. Haley, though, made up 5 positions on pit road on his 2 right side tire change on lap 74. He's held the point since, but not for long. Look at this mess. Keselowski right in the mix here on the high line.
John West Townley has been pretty much on the high side the whole time. I don't know if he got forced down there or made a decision to try the bottom, but at least he's in a different spot right now than he has been.
Well, perhaps the spotter said, hey, Hessert's making the bottom work. If you need to make that pass, you may not have to do a quick run down the backstretch and get up in front of him. Let's see if that bottom can do something for you.
Sometimes it takes 8 or 10 laps before you can get just the exact drive off of a corner you want. But I'll tell you what, John West Townley's got a handful right now.
And he did not want to get into Haley there. He actually turned it left one more time off of turn 4, lost some ground, but did not get into him to make contact there in a very tight, narrowing exit of turn 4.
And look at this. Hessert has moved up right to the back bumper of the 77 of Chase Briscoe, and he's continuing to make the bottom work. Here he comes to try to challenge for that position.
Making Townley use up those tires on the inside as well. The left side tires have lasted the entire duration for these leaders.
Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. That's what the drivers say. But you know what? They say it's unique and it's fun and it's a challenge in every part of the racetrack here.
And by now they know exactly what bump will set the car in a certain place. Almost like if you're hitting the berm on a dirt track, you know where it's going to send you if you hit it just right. Going over these bumps, the last bump off of turn 4, I can see Haley almost anticipating and driving off the corner. Look as he comes off the corner here. That last bump, he's got it down.
I love that camera shot from outside because the cars almost disappear. And when you're looking at them right there from that angle, you have no idea how steep the banking is on this racetrack. But when they come down here and roll through the corner, watch this. Well, you almost lose the cars. That's how much banking there is here at Salem Speedway.
And a new leader, Brian Keselowski, made the outside work, and then he said, okay, Haley, I've used him up enough. I've pushed him to the limit. His tires got a little hotter than mine. Here I go. Brian Keselowski leading in the ARCA Racing Series at Salem.
That'll be our 4th different leader today.
There's the inside work again for the white car. That's Tom Hessert.
Oh, I like watching this, Jim. I think he has got a plan, and I think it is starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, he's going to get past Haley here. Haley dropping back after grabbing that lead on the shortly after the restart. A little bit loose now. You can see that car of Haley now not going through the bumps as quickly and smoothly.
Makes you wonder what kind of adjustment they made down in the pits. But it appears to be working in the opposite direction of what they had hoped for.
We saw Chad Bryant, the crew chief on the number 77 on that pit stop. We saw made a huge right rear track bar adjustment on Chase Briscoe's car to get that car handling. It's working for him.
Look at Christopher Bell. I thought he was going to dive to the bottom and go 3 wide. He chose better than that. Heard that there was a slow car on the inside, so Bell aborts that bottom run this time. But here he goes to the inside of Haley.
And every time Briscoe passes the car for position, the grandstands get louder and the people get up. We're only 15 minutes from his hometown, the young man from Mitchell, Indiana, putting on a show here in the 77.
There was some contact there between Haley and Christopher Bell last time down the back straightaway.
These 2 young drivers trying to prove themselves.
Loose, Jim. Yeah, that car is loose now.
So at what point does Christopher Bell try to make the adjustment here? He's way down to the bottom of turn 4, trying to get some kind of momentum to get a position on the 74 machine of Haley, but he can't just do it yet. He can't close on him. This is an important part of the racetrack. get underneath him on the backstretch.
Look at this. Hesser continues to march through the field. He has now made his way around John West Townley. Out front, it's the car number 5 of Brian Keselowski. Rochester Hills, Michigan, his hometown.
Yeah, he ran 5 races for Bobby Gerhardt when he was injured back in 2007. Brian had run a partial schedule. And this year they said, hey, let's do it right. Let's get to Daytona. Let's make sure that Brian can work on the truck, that Bobby got to race. He made all 3 races, actually, the Xfinity Series, the Camping World Truck Series, and the ARCA race in Daytona did Bobby Gerhardt. And a lot of the credit there on the wrench abilities of this driver, the number 5, Brian Keselowski, our race leader.
Great battle here down to the inside. Christopher Bell, he's got the inside. Yeah, they're going to touch once again. Little fender rubbing there coming down the front straightaway. Fans are loving it.
I think Bell is trying to take that line away by giving him a nudge, pushing him up the racetrack just a little bit more than Haley wanted, and it worked.
Justin Haley was our leader. After the round of pit stops, they had moved up nicely, but so far he's got a loose condition that is dropping him through the field. And now Christopher Bell goes around, and look at this. Here's a big charge of cars. They're going to be working Haley over in just a minute.
There's that yellow and black Toyota. It's come to life now for Matt Krzyzewski. Kenny Schrader's winning car from a year ago, now in frame, running in the top 10. Krzyzewski out of Pennsylvania now, racing his first efforts here at Salem. Paying off with Donnie Richardson as crew chief on the spotter stand, helping this young man negotiate around a track he's not seen anything like, or probably never will in his racing career.
That's for sure. Krzyzewski was so good on the super speedways a year ago. He and Brian Keselowski working together won the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. But this year he said, I'm going to go chase for a championship. And it's early in the season, but I know this team's very determined. And Kenny Schrader really likes what he's seen out of his young driver.
We are past halfway. We see the number 58 of Kyle Weatherman here in frame. 4 spots behind him is the number 59 of Tyler McQuarrie. Great effort for him. His first oval start in a stock car. He's run 2 NASCAR West league races actually at Sonoma's road course. He's got 0 stock car experience.
Boy,
he's got a lot of experience in a lot of other cars. He's really done well.
This is a tough place to make your first stock car start, let me tell you that.
He is a Formula Drift champion. Maybe that's part of it. Drifted through these corners lap after lap, paying off for that 59 car.
That could be a great racing all the way around the Salem Speedway. Right now, J.J. Haley's going in the wrong direction. He's hoping for another caution to try to fix his race car. Green flag racing continues. We're at lap 117. Brian Keselowski out front of the field. And guess who's running second? Tommy Hessert has worked his way through the field. But there's a pretty good distance between our front running car and the second place car. Keselowski really seems to be flying around the Salem Speedway.
Hessert has a bit of damage on his car, but I wouldn't count him out just yet. Slinger Apparel on the quarter panel. Hessert out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Waiting patiently for his opportunity. Now he has to put the go button, I think, a little bit further down on the floorboard. Maybe perhaps than he wanted to at this point in the race.
Big question becomes, will the strategy play out the way the crew chiefs had hoped at the beginning of this race? A number of these guys went with just 2 tires. Of course, Brian Keselowski out on the racetrack at one of those drivers that put on 4.
Briscoe's getting the handle of this hole, get down the backstretch even and try to get to the car and get under position here to get a pass. That's the car number 77, the Ford out of Cunningham Motorsports. Crew chief by Chad Bryant.
Back-to-back pole awards by Menards, presented by Ansel, for Chase Briscoe at Nashville and here at Salem. I don't think his car is quite as good as they would like right at this time. I'm assuming they're going to want to make one more adjustment.
It was a pretty quick move on John West Townley. Townley didn't get much of a fight here. Perhaps Briscoe's car is just that fast after the adjustments with the 2-tire change on the only pit stop thus far.
There is our leader, Brian Keselowski, in car number 5. He's going by Blake Jones in the number 22. Back to the front straightaway, we see there is the 25. 52 rolling by. Hard to gauge the differential right now, but between these two cars, it's just about 1 car length. So Christopher Bell coming up saying to John West Townley, I need that spot.
And Briscoe's car is maintaining speed. Townley's car, according to the speed charts we're watching, is falling off pace a bit. Bell has closed in now on the bottom of turn number 2 for the pass.
Here he goes down to the inside in that JBL Tundra, or excuse me, Camry. Boy, I messed that one up, didn't I?
Once a truck guy, always a truck guy, right?
I guess so. Here we go. Keselowski rolling through the corner. I like the spot that he's at on the racetrack, too. He's using the middle of the track, not too hard on that right front, not abusing the bottom side of the track either.
And until he feels pressure, he can roll out of the gas pedal sooner.
Yep.
Easily squeeze that throttle back on the exit of the corners. Save a lot of wear and tear on his tires and his race car.
So Christopher Bell now gets by Townley, and there's about a 10 car length differential between him and Chase Briscoe. There you see that gap as they go down the back straightaway here beside the golf course at Salem.
The Owen family might have to rebuild portions of this grandstand if Chase Briscoe pulls off the win here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
A great job promoting the races, and what a great display of talent here on a very difficult racetrack. These youngsters have certainly shown a lot here today.
Just a great facility here at the Salem Speedway, and they put on a good show. Always have music afterwards. Beautiful Sunday afternoon today here in the springtime in Indiana.
Car number 59, Tyler McQuarrie. The last 2 weekends he spent at the Long Beach Grand Prix racing a stadium truck and doing Formula Drift. Now he's in a stock car in Salem. His teammate Sheldon Creed there in the number 38 machine. Sheldon won the Stadium Truck Championship last year. This is his just second stock car race. They're fighting amongst some guys that have a lot of laps here.
This is why the fans love to come to Speedway. Oh, man, I got contact. And all Krzyzewski was saying, get off of my bumper, brother.
A lot of speed in those Fords now, chasing down Krzyzewski. That little bobble by Haley lets the 55 of Dalton Sargent re-enter the picture now.
Justin Haley is going backwards, no question, but caution. The yellow flag is out.
Wow.
That was some great racing right there.
And you know what? It's just about that point in time where whatever adjustments were made, it all kind of washed away. And whatever you got, and you're hanging on back to racing the racetrack. And man, what a great run there.
I know these crew chiefs wanted to give with 50 to go before they changed tires, but we've got just about 70 to go now, and I'm not sure you can take the risk.
We see damage on the right rear. Bo Lamastus says Crosley Toyota. Perhaps part of the incident that brought out the caution here. We see the bumper torn away on the 42 in the right rear.
Definitely contact there for Bo.
SO Contracting on there as well. Bo's an executive, former motorcycle racer, still has a AMA motocross, a flat track racing team. He's, I believe, in his 3rd year racing full-time in the ARCA Racing Series.
Well, the pit road is closed right now. I'm not quite sure. The ARC official said it'll be another lap or 2. So we want to let you know for sure that this is a short track challenge race today. And that is sponsored by Protect Plus, the official licensee of DuPont Air and water filtration. The short track challenge is unique. It allows drivers to compete on just the races that are run on short track. Some of these guys can't afford or aren't old enough to go to the super speedways, so they've got some money up for you to chase. And right now Brady Boswell has come back in. Remember, Charlie reported earlier that they had a good bit of damage on the right front. They're going to try to replace some tires and see if they can make that 98 a little better.
He got in the wall again. The right side letters on the general tire on the right front were missing as he came to pit road. We see a lot of tape on the right front fender. Credit to the composite body. It bounced back into shape. It wasn't crushed in. It wasn't cutting the tire down from that heavy impact on the right side he had earlier to bring out a caution. Interior, not so good, but that body bounced right back out in shape and did not cut a tire down, nor did it cause damage or debris on the racetrack outside of that.
And here we go. Here is the number 25 of Tom Hester coming down with a whole bunch of other cars. And guess what? It's tire changing time. Are they going to go with 2 or 4?
They have the option of changing 4. They have that many left in the pits, but maybe they'll change right sides again.
Boy, I don't know. That'd leave you with some worn out left side, right side, left side. But here goes Hester with 2 only. Chase Briscoe, which looks like a 4 tire change for John West Townley.
A little difficulty there getting the wrench in, the fueling in. Long pit stop for John West Townley. Just a split second of indecision left him on pit road for a good 10 seconds.
Well, Brian Keselowski said my pit stops are done for the day. Apparently, he decided to go for the short track track position. And look at this. Josh Williams, our Nashville winner, right there with him saying, I'm staying out on the racetrack. Well, let's hear from Justin Haley's crew chief, an update from Charlie.
Shannon Rush, crew chief for Justin Haley. I talked to Justin right before the race. He said his car wasn't that good yesterday. What did you guys do to it today to make it run so well?
We just had to give him a little confidence. There's not a whole lot we could do to it after qualifying yesterday, but he's drove a good race so far. You know, small changes on the pit stop, so we can go out here and race Christopher Bell for the win.
Strategy kind of working out how you anticipated?
Yeah, we'll see here. There's still a lot of laps left to racing, so I hope it works out in our favor.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Strategy always a big part of the game here, and we see Blake Jones in for a big adjustment on the track bar. Also going to put on tires on the left side of that Cunningham number 22.
We see damage on the right side of that car. A lot of damage there. Again, this is Salem. We're late in the race. Won't be the last car we'll see make a stripe of their own.
That is for sure. Well, Brian Keselowski out front. He is our leader today. Let's hear from his crew chief and his dad. He's with Charlie.
Bob Keselowski, crew chief for Brian Keselowski. You stayed out, hoping to get another caution later on to put those 2 tires on?
Yeah, we kind of made our bed when we put 4 tires on, but we were, I think the left rear tire was going down on us, so we kind of had forced to do that. Now we're at a dilemma. Yeah, all we can do is put on 2 rights. We're going to lose a lot of track positions. We're going to lose a track position. I'd rather do it where towards the end of the race where the new tires might be enough to get it back again. So it's a catch-22. It's a guess. Yeah.
Catch-22 down here in the 5 pit, hoping for at least one more caution flag a little bit later on in the race.
Former ARCA champion, of course, Bob Keselowski, Brian's dad, and you know, that's really the bottom line to it. It's just a guess sometimes for some of these guys.
Unfair advantage, Keselowski's. They have 3,500 more laps here than anybody else. Bob raced in ARCA forever.
Yeah.
The boys grew up with their dad at the racetrack, and it's good to see that they're having a good run here today. Albeit, he's always wondering the glass, how much fuller can he get?
Yeah,
Bob's kind of on the pessimistic side.
This is about half full.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Not half empty. I don't know. Anyway, a couple of guys getting some repairs on their cars, and the ultimate question is, will he stay out and not forego those final 2 tires on the right side? If you can stay in the top 2 or 3, maybe it's worth it.
Well, at Toledo Speedway, for you alcoholics, Brian tried to go the entire race without making a pit stop a long time ago before the rule was in place where you had to pit at least once. Didn't work out so well, but he led a bunch of laps.
Yep. So we see Weatherman down to the inside, and we're going to get a little bit of a jumble in the lineup here. And Tommy Hessert, as we said, who always is in the picture at the end, he'll be 3rd. And to the outside, it's Christopher Bell lining up here. That's the top 4 cars here at Salem Speedway. So another caution gave people an opportunity to pit, and we need to take a short break. So please join us when we come back here to the Salem Speedway. Today's ARCA race was brought to you by Sioux Chief, Power in Plumbing, and by Ansel, the best hand protection in the country, and by Scott Brand Products. Hey folks, clean up your mess. Brian Keselowski, your leader, Kyle Weatherman down to the inside. Here comes Christopher Bell. He's putting pressure on Keselowski. Can he get the lead? Oh, down the back straightaway, goes back up to the high side, and here's Haley down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Bell taking a note from his mentor, Kyle Busch, on restarts. What a great charge he had. Now he goes to lead on the inside.
Where's John West Townley?
He went into pits 4th. He came out 10th on that pit exchange.
Oh, we've got a car in trouble. The 38's got some smoke coming out of the rear of that one. Sheldon Creed looks like he may be in trouble, and yes, he gets up into the wall after that.
Boy, he put down some kind of fluid or something the way he skated with all 4 tires into the fence.
Had to be an oil line came loose or something up front there, because it just slid right up there, and that's some pretty significant damage to Lyra Motorsports.
And as a true rookie, there's situations where you can help, but this way he couldn't. He was stuck on the outside line, which is somewhat the preferred line, but as things went awry, man,
The good news is he's got safety-craft safety equipment on the inside, just in case.
Yeah, Safecraft safety equipment does a lot of work with all sorts of motorsports. With the fire suppression system, the drivers can engage from inside the cockpit, whether it be a racing boat or a racing car or wherever you need that kind of equipment. So it's a great, great sponsor to bring along to the ARCA Racing Series for the Creed effort out of California.
I think Sheldon knew he was in trouble, but he just couldn't get out of the throttle quite quick enough, and that thing hit the wall. Boy, look at the damage on the rear deck lid.
Hard in the right side of that Ford. Lyra Motorsports, again, multiple cars in this field. They came and tested a couple weeks ago, but Sheldon has a little experience, but little could he do there with a motor issue.
Oh yeah, nothing, not much the driver could have done to change the outcome of that one. Back to John West Townley. I noticed on the restart he wasn't right there. So you said on the pit stops, how
came in 4th and went out 10th.
10th. Wow.
And Briscoe's back there too, trying to make his way forward.
All right. So Bell up there with a hard charging car. Justin Haley.
There's Briscoe.
Yep, Briscoe. Same guys we kind of figured.
These 3 cars really have been the ones to watch and the ones to pace off of all race. Throw in Brian Kozlowski who led laps, throw in John West Townley. Now Tom Hessert comes into play. Yes, it's into the chapter where it's like, okay, he's appearing in every sentence. Tom Hessert becomes a factor late at Salem.
Weatherman is in the pits, but also the number 52 car is coming in. So for more on that, let's go to Charlie.
Matt Kurgieski bringing the 52 Ansel Menards Toyota onto pit road. Flat right rear tire. Tough break for Matt Kurgieski. He's been on the lead lap most of the afternoon here today. See a little bit of damage to the left rear corner. Very physical race here at the Salem Speedway here this afternoon. There you see the tire coming off. That had gone flat on the right rear. Matt Kurgieski going to head back out with some fresh right side rubber.
Charlie, and unfortunately for Matt, he was just getting confident enough to make some moves and getting the top 10 and got in the fence there on the restart.
Christopher Bell putting some serious pressure on the front running cars and now has the lead here at Salem Speedway.
There's Chase Briscoe, our pole sitter. And the number 5 of Brian Kozlowski, who did not pit, or did he pit that time? Did Bob get his chance? Yeah, I don't know. The 25 of Tom Hessert is right there. The 55 is Dalton Sargent in his ARCA debut. There's John West Townley, number 05. Paragon Technologies Chevrolet.
Brandon Lynn follows in right behind John West Townley. We need to get an update on what's going on with Venturini Motorsports today. Back to the pit area and Charlie.
Billy Venturini on the pit box for Tommy Hessert. Tom's a multiple-time winner here at Salem Speedway. How's strategy working out for you guys today on the 25?
Well, I'm actually in the 55 pit box, but 25, you know, we tried doing the 4, then the 2. The other 2 cars are on the 2, then the 4, so it's just we're trying to hedge our bets a little bit these days. We have to wait things have been kind of unfold with all the green flag stops.
Speaking of the 55 and the 66, how are your 2 young drivers doing out there?
They're doing great. I'm working with Dalton, and he's doing a great job. Both the Toyota drivers are doing amazing. Christopher's he's just an amazing driving talent, and so's Dalton. I think we might have a little motor problem with the 66. It's not running right, the motor. He's leading the race, but I'm a little nervous about that. If it don't lose any more power, maybe he can still stay in the lead, but it's going to be tough, man. If we had all 8 cylinders working properly, we'd feel a lot better about it. But JBL Toyota's running well. TRD Toyota is excellent. It's in 6th place, and so at least we can start on the outside, so it should hopefully get them both in the top couple today.
When these tires start slipping as they get aged, well, maybe that engine difficulty on that 66 maybe benefit Christopher Bell, not so much tire spin?
If we had 100 to go, I would say yeah, but with only 50 to go, I'd rather have all the horsepower I can. And we'll run to the end here, and we'll see what we got. But we got a good shot. I mean, we're going to be okay.
Need to get Billy a razor.
Huge of the capital Hugh, though, about Christopher Bell's situation. He's had speed, but now he doesn't have the horsepower to maintain that speed here late in the going.
I thought that was an excellent question from Charlie, though, about it. Could that be an advantage? You know, a lot of times when you're on a short track, coming down in power a little bit allows you to stay in that throttle longer through the center of the corner. It'll be interesting to see what Christopher has to say, and obviously how it plays out here. If that engine gets any worse, it could be a big detriment for Christopher Bell.
Laps are counting down, which is a benefit to Bell, because if it became a 40 or 50 or 60 lap run here to the end, maybe 70 laps, it would be too much stress on that motor. The number 36 is Brandon Lynn. Young man has been trying and is now succeeding in making a full-time effort in the ARCA Racing Series with Leary Motorsports.
Penn Yan, New York is his hometown.
Good effort on that young man's part. Again, this track is a different animal. They came and tested, but keep in mind, when you test at a certain track, you might go 20 or 30 laps. You might go single file for a while. You might be the only car on the track for an hour. Come in, make small adjustments. Racing in this condition, this bright sunshine and slick racetrack, man, it's all different.
You know, we talk
guys like Brandon.
We talk about comers and goers here, Jim. It is so interesting when you look at Justin Haley. Here's a guy who was up front, led the race, then fell back to about third, and then for a while he was going way backwards. He dropped back to 8th or 9th, and guess what? Right here he is in position, second place, right behind Christopher Bell. I mean, these guys have to fight it out for 200 laps. You can't give up in the middle.
Both these young drivers have shown aggression in various disciplines in their short careers. A lot of laps and a lot of different kind of cars. Justin Haley, full-time in the NASCAR K&N E-Series. They run smaller tracks. They run Dover. They run Loudon as their larger venues. Here in the ARCA Racing Series, they don't run Salem Speedway in the NASCAR K&N platform, so this is a different racetrack altogether. But I think Justin likes it enough to say, I want to run Salem as much as I can.
Yeah, I think so. He's certainly taken well to it today.
This track is so unique, and it's one of the tracks I believe Alex Bowman, a former ARCA Racing Series Rookie of the Year for Kentuckiana Motorsports, he was asked recently, as he's now back in the NASCAR realm in the Xfinity Series, he said, I would love to have Salem Speedway on a NASCAR schedule. He loves this racetrack.
I think it should be for sure. You know, the only thing that's even similar to it in the NASCAR platform is at Bristol, but back in the day when these racetracks were built, you had Salem Speedway, Winchester, and a racetrack in Dayton, Ohio that were all very similar and all built by the same person who decided how to lay them out and how to build them. Of course, Dayton no longer exists, and Winchester, similar racetrack, not quite exactly the same. You drive the corners differently when you go to Winchester, but high banks on a half mile.
And Christopher Bell said something very similar to that as a follow-up. He said this track is like Winchester, but rougher. His experience goes back to open wheel, though, as this is his first stock car start here at Salem Speedway. First time he saw the track was 2 weeks ago for a test with this team.
Winchester was repaved a few years ago, and they had a midget there, and the guy got around there in like 11 seconds, something like that. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That is crazy.
Saw
fast.
that video on internet, and I mean, the left front tire was never on the ground. Never on the ground. But it's been a long time since they repaved Salem, I can promise you that. But that gives a great character.
Oh yeah. Yeah, turns 3 and 4 were due, so that's what they paved a couple years ago. Newer pavement. But here, 1973 asphalt, showing it is a track that's really tough to get a handle on.
And obviously we'll be at the Winchester Speedway later in the season.
We'll be there with the ASN cameras. Again, it's end of June. You can find out more on arcaracing.com for the entire series schedule. Great discount offers at local Menards stores. A key partner for the ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards. Save some cash on race tickets. So that's information as well on the arcaracing.com website.
8 short tracks on the ARCA Racing schedule, and they're all very unique. Lots of great different tracks. We go up to Madison, Wisconsin. Love that place. Berlin Speedway in Michigan. Obviously, Toledo Speedway is the home track for ARCA. Always a fantastic event when we go to Toledo, and a crowd very similar to what we have here at Salem today. They pack the place in.
Now, the reason why we're under caution is Sheldon Creed and his number 38 Ford had an oil line or something disengaged in the engine. This is oil dry being put down in loads, in bunches. Lots of oil got on the racetrack. Up to 15 quarts is what they run in these cars, not 5 like your regular passenger car. A lot of oil in an oil reservoir feeds through the system, and it looks like all 15 quarts got away out of that car.
He dumped a bunch of it, that's for sure.
The ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards has characteristics where you can run on tracks like this. We talked about the engine package, but more importantly, the experience for these young drivers. If you can get a handle on Salem, would it benefit a driver at Bristol? Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
When you get a chance to race at Pocono, for example, now an Xfinity Series track, you might see some Xfinity Series drivers coming to the ARCA Racing Series to run the Pocono race, which has been there since forever. Another great way to get laps. So there's various ways to come and go in this series. Like Christopher Bell is today. He's a full-time Truck Series racer. Wondering, why would he want to do this? Well, great opportunities to learn more about different racetracks, different kinds of cars, And this kid can do it just about anything, as he's proving once again here today.
The guys are putting down some serious kitty litter out there today in safety 1 truck.
That bucket is almost empty, as it was full before they got on the high banks.
And you can see the bumpy characteristics there as these guys are just riding around holding on.
Great to see that safety team is so prepared for things like this, though. They've got a lot of equipment here to keep this racetrack safe and clean for these competitors.
Krzyzewski back in, and they are going to raise up the right side and make some sort of a change on the right front.
It's a lot of damage. I see the center of the tire tread on the 52 of Krzyzewski might have some wear that's a little concerning to the team.
Interesting. Well, Sheldon Creed is the guy who brought out the caution here, and we want to hear from him. He's standing by with Charlie Krall.
Sheldon Creed had a lead lap run going. Unfortunately, a little bit of damage to this automobile. What happened out there?
Yeah, we a little tight at the beginning and just kept working on it. And I think we were the last car, one of the last cars on the lead lap, inside the top 10. Really good car all weekend. And yeah, just on that restart, I ended up a little high and got up in the marbles and put it in the wall, just rubbed it a little bit, and I came around the next lap, and I think something broke like the track bar, so I might just sent us into the wall, and that's what really hurt it. But man, disappointing. Really good car today. I felt like we had a for sure top 5 run on our way. So just got to thank Safecraft for getting us here, Lear Motorsports, and you know, all the guys working hard on the car, just getting us here.
Looked like a pretty good sock to the wall. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It just hurt a little bit, but not too bad. You know, come from the off-road stuff, we're rolling pretty hard. So yeah, all good. Just need to you know, fix it up and just get our mind focused for Talladega.
Well, thank you, Charlie. So this has been a very long extended caution, but the bottom line is you got to get that racetrack back in the very best position that you can and ready to go racing, and we're going to try to do that here shortly.
And once they get the green light to go back racing, there'll be oil drawn the racetrack, and those dirt boys up front might have a little bit to say about it, including Christopher Bell, our race leader.
Well, those guys are used to driving it with the rear end hanging out sideways for sure. So we're going to take another short break here as they continue to do the cleanup. Christopher Bell is your leader. Haley trying to put some pressure on with about 50 to go. Well, we've had a very, very long cleanup here at the Salem Speedway after Sheldon Creed hit the wall over in turn number 4, I guess it was.
And you see the trail goes all the way into turn 1.
All the way around the racetrack. So the track officials have told us it's good to go. Drivers have driven through the Speedy Dry and said, let's go race this thing. So let's see how it plays out. Christopher Bell making his first ever career start in the JBL Tundra, driving for Venturini's, is on the high side, and down to the bottom it's Justin Haley.
And that's where a lot of oil dry is on the outside. Christopher Bell had the option to stay on the inside or outside. He picked the outside because it's been the best crew, but I think that's where a lot of that kitty litter is right now on the outside line in turn 3.
Didn't think about that, but there does seem to be a ability to carry some momentum after you get that restart and get through 1 and 2 if you're on the high side. We'll see how it works out. Krzyzewski there had some damage on the right side. They have pitted and changed a right front tire. Chase Briscoe on the inside of row number 2. Brian Keselowski, green flag back in the air. Here we go. Let's finish this one out at Salem. And there's a dust storm going into turn 1.
Track surface has a lot of oil dry. That takes the moisture out of the oil and makes the track surface tacky again versus slippery from... Wow, speaking of slippery, look at this.
Haley gets into contact. He's right into the side of the 66, and he goes by and takes the lead.
Rub and go in turn number 3. We've seen that move done before, but Haley did it on Christopher Bell. You'd think it would just be the opposite. Bell had a great run into turn number 3, but Haley made him pay for it.
They were running side by side. Haley got a little bit loose, and it was just that tiny little bit of contact kick Christopher Bell sideways, and that puts him back to second. And here comes Chase Briscoe.
Great battle for the point here late in the going. Look at Bell on the outside now. No one's done that all day.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. If Chase Briscoe's able to get up here and compete in this thing, they're going to go crazy. Contact once again. Both of those cars sideways.
Unbelievable save by both of these teenagers.
Those guys had contact in the exact same pot of the corner, and this time Christopher Bell goes back by to retake the lead.
Christopher Bell's 21 years old, but what a move.
Wow, that
amazing
awesome.
control.
Awesome racing right there.
Briscoe in the 77. He's a 21-year-old and hungry.
Oh, and there's a car in the wall coming off of 4. Is that Keselowski?
Yes, it is. The black 5 in the fence.
There was 2 cars running side by side, real tight corners, and Keselowski now hits the wall. He loses 6 spots on the racetrack.
And he's still falling back. Here's the leaders racing to turn 3.
Chase Briscoe in 3rd, the hometown favorite. Can he make a charge? How about Tommy Hessert, a 3-time winner here at this track? I don't know. Hessert, I thought he would be up there challenging for the lead right now, running in 4th.
Bell is letting it all hang out. He's got a little bit of body damage behind the left front wheel. Shouldn't be an issue.
Guess what? John West Townley's back in the picture after that long pit stop dropped him back to 10th. He's now up into the top 5.
Posting some of the fastest laps right now on the racetrack is John West Townley to 0.5.
Varagon Chevrolet had a bad pit stop, and he is coming back through the field for sure. But boy, I'll tell you what, that side-by-side racing we saw between the 66 and 74, I think they made contact in the exact same spot in that corner down in 3 and 4.
And somehow they both knew how to get out of it. A lot of drivers would not have that ability. Really showing some great young talent here. Christopher Bell, 21 years of age. J.J. Haley, now Justin Haley, turning 18 4 days from today.
Blake Jones just went around Dalton Sargent. Now Sargent getting all kinds of pressure from the 58 of Kyle Weatherman.
Really coming to 4 here. Nothing left on the table for these guys.
Weatherman's been up and down throughout the course of this race today. He's been in the top 10, but I think in just about every single position. Wait a minute, I don't think he's led yet.
Very strong car again. Not a single mark on the number 58 of Weatherman, but maybe too little too late as he makes his charge here. He's about 4 car lengths back behind Dalton Sargent. Number 55 being directed by Billy Venturini as his crew chief today in his debut.
I just checked the scoring chart, and Weatherman has not led the race today.
Ooh, a little tap there.
Yeah, Sargent says, I need that spot. I got to go down to the bottom, and it didn't work out that time through 1 and 2.
Blake Jones' car, I think he has to steer it halfway down the straightaway to turn right, to turn left in the corner. That car's got all sorts of damage. He's hammering it down in the 22.
These guys know it's time to go. If you're going to go up there and mount a challenge on Christopher Bell or Justin Haley, you've got to go right now. It's your last chance. The front 2 cars are starting to spread out their lead just a little bit, Jim. Looks like they're about 3/10 faster than this group.
And our ASN cameras have found a great battle here. We see Briscoe pulling away safely in his position. But look at this. The 0.5 is Townley. 22 is Blake Jones. Sargent and then Weatherman now.
Oh, there's contact.
Blake didn't like to get the little slide job to the inside off of turn 2 there by Townley.
Townley's left rear definitely has a bit of damage. There's Blake Jones trying to force the nose in. Luckily, those cars did not spin out, but boy, it was close.
Can't blame Townley for getting a little wide to the inside there last lap. 5 points paid per position here. Townley going for a championship. The 22 is going for the owner's championship with several drivers already behind the wheel.
Number 98, that's Brady Boswell. We documented the fact that he had a good bit of damage on the right side. We also saw Brian Keselowski get in the wall down in turn number 4. Here is Christopher Bell in the JBL Tundra making his first ever career start. Cameras all over the action today here at Salem Speedway. Townley coming up to work on Hessert. Now he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Boy, it's hard to get through that corner without some contact.
I tell you what, Blake Jones' hood looks like it's ready to fall off, but this kid is not done fighting for position here in that black number 22 for Cunningham Motorsports. Getting the call late to run here in Salem. First short track race for this driver in the number 22.
Blake Jones won at Talladega. His teammate was Tommy Hessert that day. These 2 guys racing hard against each other right now. Hessert had that race pretty much in the bag, but guess what? They were about a gallon of fuel short, and his teammate Blake Jones went around to pick up the win that day.
Turn the page to 2016. Tom Hessert looking for his first win with his new team, Venturini Motorsports, and a track he loves. It's not going to happen today unless this team can figure a way to stay out ahead of the 22 and gain some ground late in the going here.
Yeah, Hessert's going the wrong direction. Here comes Dalton Sargent. He's going to go by him, and it looks like Weatherman also. So Hessert, who we thought would be the great tire manager today. Something has gone awry in that number 25. He's dropping backwards.
I think a lot of it has to do with the pace set by Christopher Bell and by Brian Keselowski earlier in this race. Used up a lot of his stuff, more than he wanted to stay even and stay on the same straightaway as the leaders.
That could be, and here's Townley now putting pressure on him.
Thomas Prater, the DK lock forward to the inside. Letting these guys race for the position here.
We heard Billy Venturini say he's pretty proud of what Dalton Sargent has done today. Well, also, how about Christopher Bell? These two drivers in the Venturini Motorsports stable, and Christopher Bell making his first ever start in ARCA.
Last year, Venturini Motorsports had a victory at Toledo Speedway for a young man in his very first start. His name is Todd Gilliland. He's got a very bright future ahead of him in the 66. Christopher Bell, same team, same crew chief, Jeff McClure, trying to steer him to victory here at Salem Speedway 2016.
Todd Gilliland ran about 6th in the final 70 laps of that race. I didn't even think he was in the picture. And in the final 5, all of a sudden, he came charging, ran up there and got a win. That was really impressive at Toledo Speedway.
Justin Haley. I'll say that forever. Justin Haley, not JJ. He's really been impressive today, too. These young men, he doesn't get a chance to race much in the ARCA Racing Series in these big, heavy steel body cars. He's racing the K&N East with the composite bodies and shorter races and not live pit stops. This is all coming together for Haley here. Nice run.
Some lap traffic ahead of Christopher Bell right now. He's going to have to navigate his way around AJ Fike as they go into the center of the corner. Fike trying to give him a little bit of room on the high side, but there's not much room there to give.
And AJ fighting for a position on the lap he's on. He's down at least 2 laps now. Soldiering on to a finish. He wants to run 15 of these.
Krzyzewski running for the championship this year in Kenny Schrader's Ansel and Menard's number 52. Looks like he's in danger as Christopher Bell has come right up on the backside of that race car.
Haley is now stalking once again as these cars are coming upon the 52. There's the 5 of Brian Keselowski. Again, he's limped his way around the racetrack trying to hang on to it after hard contact in the wall on the last restart.
Whoa! Contact is Justin Haley. Really hit Christopher Bell pretty hard. Got him jacked sideways, but Bell held on to it.
Bell's going to have to make a move here, and he does to the outside of Keselowski. He has to get himself free of the 74.
Oh, I thought Justin Haley might try to go to the bottom side and use the double pick that time, but he elects to go around the right side of Brian Keselowski.
Great exit off of turn 4 by Bell there. He went to the bottom and found some bite and took off 3 car lengths now in that one corner. That's huge.
How many times are these guys going to make contact in the closing laps here? They've both traded the lead with contact one time and a completely sideways Christopher Bell about a lap and a half ago from Haley giving him the nudge.
This is not what the rest of the field wants to see. Bell with clear sailing in front of him here. You see how everything closed up when he got to lap traffic? Now it's widening out again.
Here is the number 77 at Chase Briscoe. He was our pole sitter today.
Not really out of the top 5, top 3 all day today thus far. Great run for the hometown driver, home track driver.
Yeah. You know, we talked about the first win is right around the corner for Josh Williams. Well, it finally happened in Nashville. Everybody in the garage says the first win for the number 77 of Chase Briscoe could be any given day.
Very impressive young rookie. Great start at Daytona.
Wow, look at this gaggle of cars right here.
AJ Fike staying right in there with Brian Keselowski's wounded number 5 Ford.
Christopher Bell is running as fast a laps right now as he has in the entire race.
And that's with a motor that may be down. That's after pinging off the fence. It's after surviving 2 brushes, more than brushes. It was the whole bucket of paint slapped against the side of his Toyota, and he continues to run here in a very strong way.
Wow. Really impressive. Obviously, when Christopher Bell won his first Camping World Truck Series race at Eldora, everybody said, he's a dirt expert. You know, he should have been good there. I got to tell you, that's one of the best races I've seen in a long time, too. Those guys really put on a show. And Krzyzewski's in the wall coming out of turn number 3.
Wow, just that one little slip up, that 2-inch margin, getting over the edge and hitting the wall. Krzyzewski lists 4 spots in less than 2 seconds.
Wow. Shows you where the fine edge is here, Jim Trado.
And when they come through that corner, you notice they're trying to dance as close to the wall. Przieski found the limit there a lap ago. 5 laps to go is the signal from the flag stand.
Charlie Krall told us at the top of the show, he showed us the distance between the right rear quarter panel and the wall. Sometimes it's not very much. A lot of times today it was nothing.
And we see in Christopher Bell's car showing the efforts on the left side and the right side.
Wow, look at this. The differential between our leader and our second place car is starting to close up again.
It's up to these young drivers now. Haley closing now within 2 car lengths.
They know, they've been telling him on the radio, time to go. You're in the closing 3 or 4. Go, baby, go. I don't know if he's got enough. What do you think?
You know, Haley might have some damage. He might have had some steering issues that he's now trying to figure out how to race this racetrack. Both drivers hit the wall or hit each other. Gonna knock the toe out of these things. Could be all sorts of reasons why these cars are now gaining and losing speed simultaneously. Dalton Sargent on the march now.
Oh, Briscoe got a little loose as he was in the center of the corner, and the 55 goes marching by. Remember, Briscoe's running for a championship. Every spot matters.
Give third to Dalton Sargent in the 55.
That is an impressive run today from a couple of young drivers out of Venturini Motorsports.
Briscoe falling quickly back in the clutches of the 58 of Kyle Weatherman now.
Here comes Weatherman. These two guys know that every point is important.
Weatherman going for a championship for Leary Motorsports, a Roush Fenway Racing development driver. Just 18 years of age, too young to run Daytona last year, but he certainly made the most of it last year, winning the Rookie of the Year in the ARCA Racing Series by running just 15 events.
Oh, and Briscoe has a problem.
Something with the right rear has gone askew for that car. That's where the smoke's emitting from.
2 laps to go here, and Chase Briscoe, running for a championship, was in the top 5, and it appears he's going to go to pit road. No, they told him limp around. Definitely a problem on the right rear.
It's wobbling. You can tell just by the sidewall nature of the right rear tire. He's reduced the speed greatly there with a hard brake.
Oh, he's going to lose so many spots as we go through our final 2 laps here at the Salem Speedway. Chase Briscoe, man, what a heartbreak.
Heads in hands. A lot of fans here cheering on that 21-year-old out of Mitchell, Indiana.
Great run for Sargent. You see him pitching it sideways.
Yeah, he was.
The number 66. An impressive run today. No question about it that Christopher Bell has put on a show, and he will get the white flag this time. A half a mile to go here at the Salem Speedway.
Into the corner. He has to be clean here. There's 1 lap car ahead of him. He should be able to clear that car easily down the backstretch.
The music is going to sound great in Christopher Bell's headset today. The JBL Toyota from Venturini Motorsports out of the corner. He is a winner in his first ever start in the ARCA Racing Series.
Great charge. Dalton Sargent gets third in his first start in the ARCA Racing Series.
A couple of great finishes and a heartbreak right now for Chase Briscoe. You'll hear from the winner, Christopher Bell, when we come back to the Salem Speedway right after this. Today's race was part of the ARCA Short Track Challenge, which is sponsored by Protect Plus, an official licensee of DuPont Air and Water Filtration. And by Sioux Chief, you've got power in plumbing. And by Ansel, the very best hand protection you can buy. And by Scott Brand Products. Hey folks, clean up your mess. And guess what? One guy cleaned up today at the Salem Speedway, and that is the driver of the JBL.com Toyota. Christopher Bell, in his very first start ever in the ARCA Racing Series, goes to victory lane.
Amazing young talent, this driver. Put it on him today. He lasted through a number of restarts. Oil dry didn't stop him. Did not stop him at all.
Let's go down trackside and check in with Charlie Krall.
There he is, climbing out of the JBL.com Toyota. Christopher Bell celebrating down in victory lane. ARCA Racing Series debut, and he puts it in victory lane. We're going to give him a chance to get that helmet off and slide in here and get a word with our winner. Celebrating with the Venturini Motorsports team. There's crew chief and team owner Billy Venturini in there as well.
See if we can get him to get that helmet off. And we will slide in here and grab a word with our first-time winner here in the ARCA Racing Series. Celebrating with spotter Frankie Kimmel. Seabell parking it in victory lane. Your first career ARCA Racing Series start, career win, number one. What's it feel like to be in victory lane here at Salem?
Man, I'm worn out right now. That thing, that was all she had there at the last couple laps. Thank you, buddy. Oh, man, we lost it. I don't know if we lost a cylinder or what, probably about lap 100, but man, that was all she had those last 10.
Now, I saw a little bit of contact with Justin Haley on that last restart. How close were you down there to seeing this victory go away on that last restart?
Yeah, well, the top was so dirty down there in 3 and 4, and I ran on there and just plowed the fence. And, man, just can't thank JBL, Toyota, Venturini Motorsports, all these guys over here that work on this number 66 car. It's a privilege to be here, and man, that was a fun race.
A lot of wins for you so far here in 2016. Oh, yeah, we got to get the big kiss. There we go from Team owner Bill Venturini. A big smooch down here in victory lane. We're going to let him celebrate your winner, Christopher Bell.
He knew Bill was coming.
It's a tradition dating back to what Bill says. Hey, if Andy Granatelli could do it for his drivers after they win a race, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to tell him for Chicago just like he is.
That's pretty cool. And Christopher Bell getting that win in his first career start joins a long list of really great drivers over the years. That's quite an accomplishment to do it your first time in a car like this.
At Salem, where no rookies win, no rookies run well. They always find the fence. This kid did it.
So Don Radebaugh getting a PA interview, and we want to show you where your favorite drivers finished in our General Tire rundown here. So Christopher Bell, obviously in a Toyota. Great run for Justin Haley today as he comes home second, and Dalton Sargent, another Venturini driver, in the top 3.
Tom Estrid held on for 6th. The car went away a bit at the end. John West Townley came back to 7th.
I can't believe Brian Keselowski holds on for top 10 there, even after that hard hit to the wall. Bo Lemastus back in 15th, and we see your favorite drivers throughout the list. Brady Boswell had some pretty hard contact. He'll finish 18th.
Hard break for Chase Briscoe as well, finishing back in the order in 16th position.
Interesting racing today here at the Salem Speedway. We had some comers and goers in the early stage. This thing looked like it was going to go green for a long, long time. But the bottom line here was you had to have the right tire strategy, and Christopher Bell was able to hold on a great fight from Justin Haley.
And really, when it comes down to it, the field was really tight. When it came down to speed, came down to long race runs, man, it was a great race.
30 starters in our official results right now. So what an unbelievable day. John West Townley had a good run throughout the course of the day here, and as we had another beautiful Sunday afternoon here at the Salem Speedway. For Jim Trado and Charlie Kroll, I'm Ray Dunlap. Hope you enjoyed our coverage today. Thanks to the entire broadcast crew. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to AmericanSportsNet.com. This has been a presentation of ASN, the American Sports Network. It's your teams, your racing, your network, and Christopher Bell's a winner.